Okay, so let's begin. The past 5 or 6, 7 years, I don't know, ever since I went to college, I started putting out records. That shit got a buzz or whatever. We toured like 5, 6 times. It was like the best time of all time. I got to bring my homies in a RV, like 8 to 10 of us, just to fucking go play music and steal your girlfriend and just run around and just be absolute animals. I did everything that I wanted to do. I was like, this is the fucking dream. And I feel like when you start to get some success, you know, you go into this little routine of, it's like, make an album, you go out on the road, come back, you make an album, you go out on the road, over and over again. So that's what we did. We just toured to the ground. And I remember when I was young, I used to say, like, when I grow up, I just want to tour until I'm like sick. And then quarantine happened. I wanted to not tour for a second, and I got my wish. Quarantine hits. I'm like doing mad self-reflection, who I am as a human, and like everything I want to become. Like, I got to plant the seeds of that. And so I feel like this is like the first project where it's like, like the seed is starting to sprout. Not to say all the other shit before was like useless. Super stoked about like what I've done in the past, and like the fan base that I've been able to build, and what I've been able to do for my friends and the people we've been able to touch. Like, that shit means everything to me. So I come up with the idea to do Young Fel 2. Obviously, when you start to do a sequel to a project, you kind of reflect on what the previous project was. And when I think about Young Fel 1, I'm like, that was like the start of me and my friends in 2273, and like you could hear like we are just playing around. It's essentially all energy. I started this project with intentions of making this like, Young Fel 2. I like wanted to show the world, like, I'm back on my feet, I'm good, I'm out my head, I'm free, I'm happy, I'm triumphant. And the first version of the album, you could kind of hear that, but then you could also hear some unnecessary overconfidence. The goal of the album started to shift. It started to become, okay, how can I be as purely me as possible? How can I not act? How can I not be, an older version of myself? And how can I not be this like overconfident wannabe version of my future self? The challenge became, how do I incorporate that youthfulness and that rap and free energy with all the updated sounds and all the shit that I'm now into, which is like guitar and like using vocal effects and different harmonies and ethereal sounds and talking to God in the studio and like your essence, like fucking essence, life force. I think what really allowed me to hit pause on everything was like, I started to get approached by labels. So 300 Entertainment comes along. I start chatting with them, and they're like an independent label, but they're like the biggest independent label. So it's sort of like the best of both worlds. Also at the time, even though I wanted to be independent, I was also like, bruh, I want to be heard. So I signed this deal, and I was like, yo, let this be the first album of the deal. Going to Miami like really changed everything. I, at that point, didn't want to work on the album anymore. I was like, I have so many songs, bro, like we could put out an album. I was just like tired of it. And then this new energy of Miami, like just getting out of the quarantine and going to fucking Miami, it inspired that life back in me. And I was like, oh, this is what it was missing. So I head to Miami. What better place to go than Miami? Yeah. Shouts to Narrate. Narrate picked me up, let me stay at his house. I kept fucking delaying my flights. I was like, all right, I'm gonna go home in a week. No, give me another week. No, give me another week. And then I was like, all right, let's go to Puerto Rico too. We're out in Puerto Rico with Jorge Masvidal. Don't even ask how I ended up chilling with Jorge Masvidal. And it was like a beautiful time because it turned this corner of You know, it's like that point right when you think you're like, you've had enough and you're tired and you sort of surrender and you're like, all right, fuck it. It's like always that point that shit starts happening again. And it's fucking annoying because you can't try to surrender. I don't know, we went to like 70 different places. We just kept moving. It was like post-quarantine, we just kept traveling. And all these places were just giving me energy and like inspiring new sounds and new ideas. I think going away and traveling and just like enjoying life is like, that's really all you need to do. Like making music is it's got very little to do with music. It's got 99% to do with life. When I started to involve different people, like different producers or different friends who I was like really fucking with as people, everything started to change because they were pulling things out of me that I didn't know I had. In Miami with Cappy, I made Freshwater. It's really a song about God. It's like that thirst to be with the one. I ask myself, what am I doing here? I'm alive on the real. I survived through the years. And I started to hear myself again. It's like just this beautiful moment. Thank God for Freshwater. Like once I made that one, I was like, okay, I can make a new album. But don't catch no feelings. Tell me your secrets. Surrounded by Topanga was like a whole new experiment. This was after Gypsy Burns was like, yo, let's just like lock in. Let's have mad fun. Let's get together everyone that we fuck with, everyone that we think is dope, and put them in one house. Throw it, fire out back. Planes up there, yeah, keep shit wet. If I die today, I unpacked my whole studio, the Lagoon, and we just lock in. We had like 3 studios. We were experimenting, bro. We were like trying different ways of making songs. Like we would set a timer for 25 minutes and make the song in 25 minutes. You get some like off the cuff fire shit that's just hilarious. We made Fire Out Back like that. There was a forest fire or like a brush fire, and we were like, yo, should we like evacuate? And I remember Gyps, because Gyps like don't give a fuck about dying. He was like, fuck that, let's make a song. And I was like, Gyps, let's go. Luckily, a lot of dope people were down to come. Some people I just met. Dominic Fike pulled up. Bobby Raps pulled up. This dude Hans pulled up. Landon Q pulled up. We had my boy Josh there engineering. I flew him out from New York. Josh mixed and mastered Mariposa. He was just like going crazy. He was setting up the whole house. Cappy flew out from Florida. Gyps was there. Gyps was sort of like, let me like run the house. So once again, like I thought I was done with everything. I felt like there must be an album here. I sent it to my boy Oliver, and he was like, I feel like me and you have a certain chemistry that is missing from this album. So I was like, I feel you. I was like, okay, I'm coming to England.
Gotta do what you gotta do to get the right take, you know.
And then I catch Corona. We both catch Corona. Not a lot of music was being made, but so much was being understood about where I see myself going in the future. And there's a lot of dark shit on this album. The album is also like a large look into like my childhood. My dad got like diagnosed with cancer, like brain cancer, like realizing that like your whole being kind of comes from your childhood added like a whole different dynamic to the album. This is not about trying to be 18 again. This is trying to understand what youthfulness is and like who that being was before the world. When that sort of came into the picture, it started to change the whole vibration of the project. And then I found that picture, the artwork. I love the photo because it's so exactly how I remember growing up. It's like they're like holding on to me like, yo, little bro, like get it together, like we're gonna get through this. Shouts to the fans, shouts to the day ones, shouts to like 300, everybody who made this shit possible. It was such a beautiful process, and I just, now I finally feel like I have like my community back, and like, it's just this like coming back home feeling. It's this coming back into love feeling, but infused with like the shadows and fear and darkness. Shouts to everybody, bro. If you worked on this project, bro, God bless you. And thank you. And thank you to God. And thank you to the fans. And I can't wait to see y'all, bro. We about to rage. We about to get back to those shows. We're going to see what's ready for this next chapter. But for now, I present to you Young Fel 2. Peace.
My bones, but it's alright. She did me up from the ruins. It's gonna be one more long night.